AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
911, what's the nature of your emergency?
Welcome back to the Tactical Living Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Wilton, joined by Sergeant Wilton. Clint, how are you?
I'm good.
You want to know something weird that I think about a lot that I don't think I've ever talked to you about? Living in a cave. Like the primal element of those that came before us that literally lived in caves. And I'm bringing that up because today I wanted to talk about hypervigilance and just some components of it that you might not have considered before. And I want you to just picture living in a cave. And of course, we wouldn't have the modern commodities like light. You'd have to wait for the sun. And it's pretty cool that we have our circadian rhythm that's built into us, telling us when to go and, retreat back into that cave, and the sunlight coming up, telling us that it's time to wake up and start our day. And yet, when you go to leave that cave, you wouldn't just walk out and have a big stretch and enjoy the sun. You'd be very cautious. And you would look around to make sure that you are safe and that there were no predators around you.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting concept, especially putting yourself in that situation. Because even whether you're doing it intentionally or not, you would be going out and be scanning the area to make sure you're not going to be eaten by, I visualize a saber-toothed tiger coming up and jumping down on top of you and trying to eat you.
Yeah, because them too, they would be doing the same thing, retreating, coming out, hunting, surviving. And we have these survival instincts that are built into us, and they're so important. A lot of them have been diminished to a lot of the extent because of our modern day commodities. And, we live in homes where we can lock our doors, and thank goodness, a country where we can lock our borders. And yet there are some careers, like working as a first responder, for example, where you have this reinforced. You have that primal instinct that tells you that hypervigilance is very important, and you learn how to cue into it more. And the only problem with that is that when it comes time to coming home, if you haven't adopted practices, it can be very difficult in order to be able to actually swing out of that.
Yeah, and I think something like with me specifically, I'm able to turn off the hypervigilance, but I'm still aware of my surroundings. I'm still aware of what's going on. And it's being able to, effectively, you're exiting out of your house or you're exiting out of a store, and being able to address and analyze everything around you in an instant, and being able to recognize that without having to be head on the swivel all the time.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. So my dad suffers from onset dementia, and so what I'm about to explain is actually a consequence of that. And a few months back, Clint, you and I had taken him to the movie theater, and Superman?
Yeah, Superman.
And we were sitting there in the theater, and he kept covering his ears like a child when things are too loud. And then he took some napkins and crumpled them up and tried to shove them in his ears. And I kept telling him, Daddy, let's go. It's fine. We can just leave. It was too loud for him. And there's actually a condition. It's called hyperacusis. And what that is that a lot of the times loud noises that would be normal to some people, or everyday noises, might be very disruptive and even painful to some people. And I think a lot of people who struggle with hypervigilance, and I can say this because I am somebody who struggles with this, where I will hear a loud sound and it not only triggers my fight or flight, but it also physically pulls down my spine and literally causes a physical jolt of pain in my body. And it could be something outside, it could be a jet flying over us, whatever it is. And that's exactly what my dad was experiencing in that moment. And, we ended up leaving, and things were like nothing had ever happened after we took off. But then there's another consequence of that if you're somebody who experiences that, and it's called phonophobia. And what that is actually the fear of those loud noises happening. And you can feel your blood pressure increasing, your adrenaline picking up when you're in a heightened state. And this is something that, I've struggled with for a very long time. And I know that it's because of my hypervigilance being on more times than it's not.
Yeah, having, recognizing that, and it starts leading to this it can be like an extremely like uncomfortable experience, and being able to find that, like, it's one thing, like I like loud music in a vehicle or just loud noise like that, and I'm not comparing this to anything, it's just that's one thing, like it feels like it physically hurts, and it's a really weird experience.
Yeah, and I remember maybe a month ago I had told you I was sitting downstairs, and when you're gone, the TV's off, it's silent in our house, and I'm just typing away on my laptop, and all of a sudden I had the windows open upstairs, and the draft made the door upstairs slam so loud. And so there's a difference between that startled feeling and like that scared feeling of like something happened or something could happen or something is about to happen versus what I'm discussing, because hearing that door slam, it wasn't like, oh, somebody's in our house. It was like a physical jolt of pain just after experiencing that noise. And it could be something as simple as like a child dropping something on the floor, or, our dogs have toys that are loud when they drop them on the floor, and it's the same thing.
I really have. This is something I haven't thought about for a long time. When I work in the prison systems, and this is a perfect example of it, of where, like, working on the prison yard, when you hear a building alarm go off, pretty much that's like you jump up and you run over to make sure everything's okay. And it's a loud buzzer noise, and it sounds very particular. And I remember distinctively, like, we were at the grocery store one time, and one of their, like, ovens where they were cooking chickens or something like that had gone off, and it, like, created that response for me, because it's ingrained in you to get up and respond to it, and it triggered that physical reaction for me, and it caught me off guard.
Yeah, when I worked for the Double, the phonophobia was so real, because every single day I was anticipating the sound of that door chime when she would come in. And so that, again, like just hearing that in my spine, that just so happens to be the location for me, like I would feel her coming in, that jolt of fight or flight, or like you better have some hypervigilance on because something is or could happen soon.
Yeah, it's recognizing that and knowing what your response is going to be. I think that's one of the biggest things, is being able to respond, in a sound manner, to be able to keep your cool and address whatever it may be, if it is that fight, or if it is the flight, or if it's just a noise.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that you could do in order to be able to calm down your nervous system. For me, any time now that I have that sensation come up, I always practice if then. My whole system, my operating system, runs off of like, if this happens, then you got to do this. And so for me, it's if I feel that jolt of pain in my spine, then I pause, I completely calm my nervous system, grounding myself, and I take deep breaths, and I allow myself to box breathe if I need to. If I still feel my heart racing, then I just continue the process until that's no longer there for me.
Yeah, and it's really good, especially it definitely takes work to get to that point, to be able to recognize that within your body, be able to get yourself back to center when it comes to that. And it takes practice, it takes work, and then being able to address whatever it may be at that moment.
And you might not like to hear this as you listen, but another thing is that you are being flooded with stimulation if you're on your phone or on your laptop, on your iPad, and you don't even realize that it's a little ping after ping after ping. And so if you notice that you're in a hypervigilant state, another great thing to do is to don't allow yourself to be overstimulated, especially when you're at home. So put the phone down for a little bit, turn the TV off, even having music on, like enjoy some silence just for a bit.
And it's actually funny. I was talking to my guys last night, and I was telling them, like, because because I've been on my phone a lot, especially at work recently, just because we have a lot of stuff going on. And I told them, they're like, your phone's off the hook all the time. And I go, I know. So if I'm at home and it takes me a bit to respond to you, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's I put my phone away from me so I'm not getting blown up all the time.
Yeah, another thing too, and Clint, I've had to say this to you specifically, is if I notice that, I could be sitting there working. Usually if you're home, I try to do what work I can upstairs and then come down so that I can at least be with you while I'm working, since I work so much. And so you'll have the TV on, you'll be playing on your phone, but there are times where I am constantly task shifting. Like if something is downloading or uploading, I'll switch over to something else so that I can continue on working and not wasting any of my time just sitting there doing nothing. And so there have been many times where I'm doing like a million things at once, and the TV is already a distraction for me, and I'll notice my breathing is picking up, like, that fight or flight is kicking in for me. And I've had to tell you several times, like, can you just not with the dogs? Yeah. Because to me, in my head, it's like you're doing this on purpose. And I know that you're not, but I'm already getting anxious. And then it makes me like I'm getting pissed off. And then by the time that it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, can you just stop with the dogs?
Yeah. Well, and it's completely understandable because there's so much stimulus going on. And then I incorporate messing with the dogs.
Yeah, I'm sharing that because verbalizing what you have going on inside is so important with the people that you're around. And if I don't tell you, then how are you to know? And you're probably going to drive me crazy by doing more of that same or similar thing. I hope you've gotten some value out of today's episode. If you have, do us a favor, drop a review, subscribe down below. And as always, know that I'm sending you a long, tight hug from my home to yours.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.